married. So, where did you meet your wife? And can you give us a little background as to who she is and where she hails from? She's also in ministry. So, tell
Yes,
us a little bit about.
she's from Miami, born and raised. She is an AME minister, and I met her actually in my role as a state overseer. I would go down and meet with my pastors, and on one weekend, I went down to have breakfast with them, and they said that not enough of them could make it, but there was going to be a service that Sunday evening that everybody would be there. So I went to that service. I got there late, but the moderator of that service, who happened to be one of my pastors, recognized me, placed me and my cousin in chairs in front of the first pew. And the person who tapped me on the back and gave me a program turned out to be the honoree. And it was my wife, Durrell, who was being installed. And I thought it was the wrong thing to do, to put me in front of the person who was being celebrated. And as it turned out, another pastor who was supposed to be on program to give the charge to the candidate was not there. And they asked me to do the charge. And literally, that's how we met. But it was only after COVID, a year and a half later, that we reconnected as a result of me putting a picture on Facebook to say, basically, I'm alive and I'm well, that she responded to. And so she moved here, and she had a church in Miami, St. Paul AME, but she chose to work with me. My preference was stay where you are, because at least in the AME denomination, you don't have the hindrances that you would have in a Baptist church, in terms of exercising your gifts or even becoming a pastor. But she decided and she desired to work with me, and now she's my executive pastor at Bethel. And yes, we've been married for 3 years now, and she's done a great job at Bethel. But it was my original idea that I would support her in her ministry, because I had been at Bethel nearly 30 years, and I would support her. But as it turned around, she had a desire to support me. So here I am at 32 years at Bethel, and she's been with me for about 3 of those years.
That's excellent. Whenever you see a man that knows how to support um, a woman, especially in ministry, you've met a man that loved his mother.
Absolutely. My mother was my hero, my best friend. And of course, as I said, being the dark child in a light-skinned family, there was a lot of tension there, particularly between me and my dad. But my mother was the one that advocated for me. She was the one that taught me how to pray on my knees. She was the one that introduced me to hope and trust that God was going to make a way. Unfortunately, it didn't end well for she and my dad. Things never got better. And I think that I took some of that into my married relationships. I've been married more than once. And I think a lot of that heartache, a lot of that unhealed trauma is what caused prior marriages not to work. And so in this particular marriage, my dedication, my determination is to not let that knee-jerk reaction cause me to bail, either in reality or emotionally, when trouble, presents itself, obstacles. But it's been a long haul. And if you will, my ministry and marriage have been juxtaposed, and one has chipped away at the other rather than both of them coming together and blossoming in what I was trying to do in ministry and in the public sector.